Let's get started.
Now let's get it all in perspective. We did it like that, and now we do it like this.
Do not attempt to adjust your dial. I'm transmitting live. Yo,
Let's get down to business.
Now let's get it all in perspective. We did it like that, and now we do it like this.
All right.
for the underground world, every street and borough.
You may learn something.
Post Joe.
As always, we start off the post, Joe, by reading our new Patreons.
So
This
sensual.
was
It's like Barry White.
A little bit lighter on the Patreons. This just came in. Very exciting. Very exciting. Welcome, Wellman, 86. Came in at Brian Redban, just under the gun. And Michael Iverson, big man, updated his pledge from 5 to 20. Thank you very much.
White
Michael
Iverson,
and
our man.
Thanks, man. Thank you, everybody in the Patreons.
Wellman 86.
Or women. You are the best. You're why we do this.
We would like to one day have a Patreon where we talk for 2 hours because we have to read off so many names, but that's just my wet dream.
That's it? That was all, Kumar?
Yeah, that's fine. Whatever. Two's great.
It
No,
happens.
I'm just double checking his math, Matt.
And
Okay,
always,
sorry. Jesus.
regardless, thank you to all the existing Patreons.
Thanks, everyone who listens. Period.
Everything here is because of you. That guy, this guy, the thing that's recording, and we only want to make the show
Kamar's lawyer.
more entertaining. Kamar's lawyer, everything. Like I'm the most grateful of anyone for you guys. So
Oh my
thank you
God,
very
we're
much.
getting another emergency alert.
I'm not. I didn't get that one.
It's the same one.
Um,
I forgot to mention something in Post Malone, which made me a kindred spirit with him. When I was, I think, 9 years old, I was up at my cottage with some family, and I was eating a steak,
yeah.
and I choked on a piece of steak, and my uncle saved my life
Wow.
by giving me the Heimlich.
That's
maneuver.
amazing.
It is amazing. And he told the exact same story.
You know what's really meta is,
Did you just say, do you know what's really meta?
yeah, I'm going to tell you why. Because this, talking about Post Malone in the Post Joe makes it like the Post Joe.
I love it. Alliteration
Yeah.
well. And it just happens to be the uncle who does the wardrobe for Umbrella Academy, which season 2 came out.
You took it all the way around.
Which, if we're going to go deeper, Simon is in season 2 of
Which
Umbrella
is
Academy.
crazy.
See if you can spot him and tell us where and when he appears.
I have to look for him now. And do you know what the whole thing is about?
Umbrella Academy? No, I don't
Season
know.
2?
I don't know
And
anything.
you would prefer me not
I
tell
would
you?
don't
prefer
tell
you
him.
don't tell me anything.
Don't
No
tell him
spoilers,
anything.
please.
Don't tell
I've
him
been
anything.
saving it. Thank
Bring-
you very much.
Bring a cum rag.
Cum rag. Holy shit.
You think he'll be excited when he finds out what it's about,
mean,
right?
yes.
What
of
is
course.
he talking about?
Well, you-
aliens. It's about
just
aliens.
watch the fucking thing.
What I was going to... Okay, just a little bit of housekeeping from last week.
Okay.
Last week's Post Joe, actually. So, and I just... So you give us a topic, right? And we're totally blind to what you're going to talk about.
I do not give you any notice of what I'm
No
gonna
notice. So I'm purely going off
football player.
what you told me. You know what I
Oh,
mean?
did someone shit on you for the football player?
Somebody mentioned it, but I just, in my own defense, like granted, I now know the whole story, so I kind of understand a little more what's going on. My view didn't change a whole hell of a lot, but it would have helped me to formulate, like he's not a doctor, right? He's
He's a doctor. He's a medical doctor.
I thought he worked in old age homes.
Yeah.
As a
That's what
medical
he decided to
doctor.
do.
Okay, but,
Clearly he
Whoa.
did the deep dive research to formulate his point of
but
view.
that also helped. I'm just saying this would have helped me formulate my opinion, which I have to do on the fly.
But
you know,
I think I understand how it's my fault that you said something. But it was like midnight. It was 40 degrees. You're under duress. And you're like, just play
no,
football.
like I said, I don't think my opinion changes that much, but it will change a bit based on having all the facts.
At the end of the day, he's a commendable Canadian, proud to call it, but-
Commendable,
Exactly.
yeah. I'll have to backtrack a little on that one, I guess.
Okay, I've got a lot of stuff here, but I don't think we have to hit it all.
Hit it all.
Well, just to demonstrate the madness out there, Alyssa Milano tweeted this week, "We live in a world where Joe Rogan has 3 times the listeners I do. What's wrong with people?"
She is, people who don't live in reality. Remember we were talking about that earlier?
Yeah.
Alyssa Milano is the ultimate example of that.
How far removed is that? Like,
She is so fucking bonkers.
I just love, hold on. I don't get this. It's like, this guy hosted Fear Factor. I'm an actress. Yeah. Okay. So you guys are on the same playing field. He's been in this for much longer. Shut the fuck up.
This is so sad.
just the fact of the time he's done his podcast, whether or not you like him or not, is why he's going to have more lists. Like, there's a mental block. Like,
It's a weird disconnect. That
it's-
would be like if I came out and was like, we named our show the same thing. Why don't we have the same following?
where's our $50,000 a month? What's going on here?
This is so hard for
ridiculous.
me because I don't think there is a woman on the planet who I have jerked off to more than Alyssa Milano, because when I was a kid, she was like my everything. You know
I had
what
the
I
exact
mean?
same thought when I was like, what the fuck is this bitch
And
saying?
this is going to lead into, I think, another point for you. I'm going to segue for you, okay, Kamar?
A segue,
Subway, rather, for you. Over the next while, you're going to see that possibly you're going to have to be willing to cancel from your lives a lot of your heroes. You know, meaning like maybe great actors who you love their movies, you're going to find out some terrible things about, where you're going to have to like make a moral decision, kind of like the decision I had to make with Mel Gibson.
Was he a hero of yours?
I loved Mel Gibson. Braveheart was my ultimate number one favorite movie.
And that's just hot garbage now?
I've never watched it since he made those statements about not believing in the Holocaust.
It's already made the impact in your life, though.
Which
You
is
can't erase that.
also interesting now because Mel Gibson is fighting against the pedophile ring. So he's like trying to be righteous, but he's a Jew hater. And speaking of Jew haters, not that they're Jew haters, but people will sit around on comedy shows and don't get me wrong, I don't care. Do whatever you want. And they'll make jokes about the Holocaust and nobody bats a fucking eye. You know what I mean? That's okay.
Usually they're Jewish. The comedians.
I mean, sometimes, not really though. I heard it on a
I mean, like
thing
Gilbert
where,
Gottfried or whatever. Like,
oh no, I hear it from people all the time who have nothing, who aren't Jews, for sure.
I hear it all the time from people that aren't Bergs and Steins.
I find
Yeah,
those are
or
talented.
Mans.
I find those are talented hacks that are trying to seem edgy because they mention Hitler's name or Holocaust. Like, yeah, I'm going there. That's what I start thinking about it.
My whole point is that one's just acceptable, whereas another group of people to discriminate against won't be.
Well, I'm going to try to do a joke about the Uyghur Muslims and everyone's going to pull back.
Well, that's going to be hard.
Not about them, about China being an oppressive country.
Yeah.
But it's in such a mindset that people are like, don't fuck with China. Like,
I say fuck with China.
I'm telling you, watch me do my Chinese jokes and people are like, I don't know if you can say that.
You'll have to film it.
Like, it's not racist. It's against the government. It's against the oppression. It's against the system.
Anyway, so back to canceling your heroes, because things are going to come up in the next little while through this whole pedophile thing, through Ghislaine Maxwell, and also through the cancel culture. And that's where I'm segueing for you, because they're making an asserted effort to maybe, or maybe not, to hurt comedy. And then you're going to have to decide. Go ahead.
Oh, I thought you were going to say the name.
No, I'm leaving it to you.
So recently, the news: Brian Callen got accused of rape and sexual misconduct, and I think he's done.
Let me ask you this before we do anything. Did either of you read the LA Times article about it
I did.
in its entirety?
Mm-hmm.
Simon,
I did not know.
you didn't? Okay.
I call it rape.
What's that?
I think it's rape.
So, okay, but let me ask you, like, I've read a lot of these articles. This is the first one where almost every claim in it, I was like, oh, I see this.
Yeah, that's
Like,
that's what I'm saying. Where
The
where you
one
go-
chick, when she was like, he said to me, every woman has a biological desire to get raped. Dude, I pictured Brian in my head, like perfectly saying, it was so weird.
No, because he's said it on podcasts. He's said things like this.
This is what I'm going to say, okay? If he's guilty, he should be punished to the full extent of the law. But we got to be careful not to throw anybody under the bus too quickly.
Well, again, we don't have enough info, but
This is what I'm saying.
But
there is a statute of limitation. Oh, no, rape has no statute.
But we
of
have
limitation.
actions, and when this came out, he said, "This is categorically never done before. I'll address it on Saturday night on the Fighter and the Kid."
So what happened last night?
Never happened,
Nothing happened.
which is so weird because what Kamar and I were saying and what other people say, obviously, is if you're not guilty, then you fight. You know what I mean? Don't be quiet. Being quiet makes you look guilty.
Yeah, well, I'm sure he has lawyers that were like, if you go on your podcast tonight and you say anything, consider yourself done.
Well, yeah.
Especially, and again, I don't know, but if he was guilty and his lawyers were aware of that, of course he couldn't go on and say any differently. He'd be putting himself up to libel and shit at that point as well.
It
Or
doesn't
slander.
look good. And
Yeah, I always forget the difference.
one
of them's written, one of them's like verbal, but I forget
I think it's libel is written, slander is verbal.
I think that's it. Yeah.
Yes.
Sorry.
It doesn't look good, but I said Schaub's got to let him go.
And Kamar made a really good point.
I did.
Well, isn't Brian Callen
Earlier.
also moving to the Rogan compound?
Well, this is
like,
hold on. This is all getting interesting now. Okay, so Kamar made a good point earlier, which is this article that came out about this whole thing apparently has a quote from Brian in it. So he knew the article was coming out days and days before. They've had a guest host on
The last
Fighter
3 or 4
and the Kid
episodes.
for like the last 4 episodes. Yeah, it's just all interesting. They are both moving to Texas. Schaub and Brian were both moving to Texas.
well, yeah, they have to move.
Everybody was moving their operations.
Everyone's moving. From
I don't know
everywhere.
what's going to
Yeah,
happen.
but Schaub, did you not hear Schaub this week said he was having cold feet?
And
Because
well,
of one of
probably
the
because of Brian.
reasons was because of
Yeah.
Brian.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't hear that.
But now that we know that Brian's known for at least a couple of episodes, it all kind of makes sense. But this is interesting now. So if, let's just say this is a concerted effort to go after Joe.
Or those around Joe.
He's getting ready to, he's got like a whole crew of people moving to Texas,
It's set up, apparently.
which
That's what Schultz said.
is, am I incorrect to think that Texas is a Republican state?
You are correct.
It's
It's a red state.
Yes, of course. What are you, fucking nuts?
Well, sorry, I'm just doing that to highlight
fair enough.
the fact
Sorry.
that I said that it's the DNC who's coming after Joe Rogan. This all, again, they don't want him to move to Republic. Right now, he lives in California.
He's in their territory.
good for business for California. Like, all of this is, I'm telling you, they are trying to blackball him. They don't like that he is not playing their fucking games. They're not used to it. Like these Rothschilds, they're not used to having celebrities say no. When they wanted Tom Cruise in Scientology, they got Tom Cruise in Scientology. I know it's not the same thing. I'm just showing you when they want something, they get it, but they couldn't have it with Joe, and it was too much for them. And this maybe is that, or maybe not. Maybe it's these guys are just gross. but
Conspiracy-minded person would say, for sure.
It would be a really good way to discredit Joe, would be to go after the people around Joe,
But yeah, just
and then after comedy in general.
I mean, here's my thing though: is like none of these allegations are recent, so it's a very long con. That's all I'm saying.
that's a problem.
Sorry, explain further?
But you remember,
Hold on,
the judge.
the one that got to the Supreme Court.
Yep, that everyone was upset about.
Kavanaugh.
Yeah,
They
Kavanaugh.
they knew about.
Yeah, I
her
know, for
information
ages,
and
yeah.
sat on it. So
So
But
they could be doing the same thing. But sorry, expand on what you said earlier.
This is a little bit
please.
different. It's not a Supreme Court nomination. We're talking about podcasters. My point is just Brian, the one woman that like is rape, right? That's what we're calling that. That's the one you're talking about, Kamar. That's like definitive. Like
and I said
she
that-
said no,
there's regret rape. Like I fucked him and now I'm mad about it. And then
there's
rape,
I said no. He held me down after taking me over. Like the whole scenario was
It was-
pretty much
seems
forced
worse than-
drinks
it
on her. Then
seems
was like,
worse than
we
D'Elia.
have to go back to my place for the
D'Elia was creepier. This was like, fuck, dude, you're a piece of shit. And especially because he's married, cheated on his wife for 4 years. Like, there's nothing.
Yeah, there's no redeeming
coming out of
no,
this with him.
It's not.
I really have to see what goes on here. Like
As we all do. I
Yeah.
mean, we're
Simon, I really think you should read the LA Times article.
will.
It's pretty damning, I must say.
well, I will read it. And who owns the New York or the
LA Times. I don't know, but even if
It's blue.
You're forgetting that sitting here, blue or red, like you don't want to believe it, right? So
No, totally. But again,
crime is a crime.
just going to look, if we're looking at this through the eyes of
Sure.
the DNC trying to do away with Joe, they're going to use their media sources to discredit him. Like, again, I'm not saying that's true. But if it was, that would also fit perfectly into
Okay,
the
but just hear me out.
narrative.
Fox News and like right-wing media don't tend to break a lot of rape cases, period. Can we agree with that?
The thing is, he's a grown man. He can defend himself. He doesn't need you to.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure to that. I wouldn't know enough to say one way or another.
You'd
so.
probably have to give me the benefit of the doubt, though. I don't
will-
know
if
for
you
sure
know,
either.
Then I'll give you the benefit
All
of the
right,
doubt.
fine.
But do you know?
No, but like you know what I'm saying, you fucking idiot. Is a piece of shit.
I tried to do that diplomatically.
TikTok
Monday.
banned. Keep going. Keep going.
Okay.
There's nothing there.
Keep it coming, man. I want to cover them all, Kamar.
In local news, last week, Brockville, 3 hours from here, a man was being chased by police and he jumped off a overpass into traffic and died. And it turns out somehow he got from Houston, where he killed his wife, to here. Like, how did he get across the border?
Do I need to know more about this story before
That's all I know.
give an opinion?
That's all I know is that guy got somehow, the border's closed. So a suspected murderer.
We have so many
I was just gonna say,
parts of
you
our
just walked
border.
across.
Well, I was going to say the busy borders are closed, Kamar, for sure. But there's a lot of a lot of open space out
just
there. Yeah.
trees you could walk through. If you wanted to put a backpack on or
Yeah.
whatever, you weren't worried about being in the woods for a couple of days.
He might have been living with that other dad in Quebec.
He might
They
have
were
met
high-fiving each other.
Bigfoot and fucking had
Yeah.
him carry him
Obviously,
across the border.
There's tons of places along the Quebec border where people
no,
come across.
that's-
It's true. If Bigfoot had his cloak on, you could just get right
Well,
across there.
because I did hear, yes, that's true. It's not a cloak. It's you'd have to like hold on to him. I don't even know if that would work. But imagine Bigfoot was like a coyote between the American and the Canadian border.
A coyote?
A coyote.
Yeah.
A Bigfoote. a
He's a drug
Sasquatch-te.
mule?
Yeah.
That's-
Something like that. Oh my God. Bigfoot as a drug mule. That's amazing.
Bigfoot's secretly a billionaire?
Dude,
that's
a
why he lives
story.
underground?
That's a story to tell. There's no Barry Seals. There's only Bigfoot.
And he's really just like a hairy dude he's a prepper. He just lives underground.
He's a drug dealer.
Sorry, Kamar, go on.
What else
Did
you
you-
got in notes there?
I just found that concerning.
Yeah.
Also in Canadian news this week, Trudeau testified on the WE scandal. And what I think makes it egregious, because remember I said, I was talking to a friend and said, can you believe this scam? I was like, whatever, I got my $2,000. You know what I mean? If this is a scam, what makes it so worse is at the time that they did it, during the pandemic. That makes it worse.
But they've been doing it a long time, you know?
I know, but
They just got caught during the pandemic.
no, this program was $500 million specifically
Right.
to help volunteers during the pandemic.
Right.
If there was no pandemic, this wouldn't have come to.
But the money hadn't even gone to them yet. So
They'd
everything.
gotten $40 million.
I thought
They'd
they
already got 40
Oh,
million.
yeah? Okay, sorry. But most of the damage the We Charity had done was well before this.
Whatever they've been doing for the last 20 years or how long the
which
charity's
is
been on.
super shady.
His mother's got $300,000 from them.
Super shady, but it's even worse than that. Like when you're gonna see this is gonna come out as like a really sordid affair where that family is just who knows, man. We'll see what happens.
And what was interesting is it was done by Zoom. You can watch it, it's on YouTube. But so there's one mediator guy, and then okay, now we'll have the conservative guy, and then he talks, and then it switches to Trudeau. Like there's not in a House of Commons or whatever. Weird. So it's super awkward and like a lot of talking over, and then every once in a while they have a Liberal MP ask him a super softball like, you agree puppies are good. You know what I mean? As the NDP. And that's what I think is also scammed. The NDP and the Conservative are both like, when did you know about this? All this stuff. And of course, you know, Trudeau in any situation never answers any questions.
Yeah, whatever.
He thanks for the question. Anyways, it's
Whatever.
It's gross what's going on.
Let's get to the fun stuff.
I don't think there's any fun stuff. So
like 10 things there.
you guys hear about Ellen DeGeneres?
Yeah, well, that's something interesting to talk about.
And it's, again, the nicer the people, the worse they are.
Dude, her whole operation is crumbling around her. You know, there's sex allegations now.
I think that's from her producers, whatever, sexual
Yeah,
misconduct and whatever.
not to her. I'm saying her orbit. That
Right.
whole show was like it was like a Weinstein thing where apparently everybody knew and just didn't say shit. Isn't it so interesting? Because you listen to Sunday papers there.
I haven't listened to today's, but
No, but in general, you listen to Sundays with papers.
Well, I
and
introduced
both
it
of
to you, so
those guys worked on the Ellen DeGeneres show, and both have
non-disclosure.
so they can only talk about things that have gone on in that they're
news.
reporting on, but they obviously know more.
Well, they always talk like
I know.
I would say more, but I've said too much already.
You should listen to today's Kamar. They just go like balls deep.
Well, I'm sure they're abused or mistreated or whatever by them. But it's the same thing. What they're, I know you don't want to talk about the we, but one of the big thing is, even if you didn't do this, how are you not knowing what's going on in your fucking cabinet or your government?
She did know.
Well, who I don't know
Because
what she knows.
she's also being accused of being not a nice person.
Well, and it just goes to show, like,
What kind of accusation is that?
not a nice person.
Yeah, just out of curiosity. Like, are we canceling people now because they're not nice?
No, but she was obviously
abusive work conditions. Like, it's coming out. It's happening right now. But it's just, it's so interesting that she plays this super happy go. I just want to dance, and then she's a complete cunt in real life.
You see Brad Garrett come out and
People who can, and like there's
and then the girl from Back to the Future there said that he wasn't lying.
no one's
About
defending.
what? What are we talking about?
Oh, Brad Garrett came out and said everything that they're saying about Ellen is true, about her show is true, and then somebody,
How does he know? We're talking about
like-
Brad Garrett from Everyone Loves Raymond?
Yeah. I don't know how he either worked
Yeah,
with
that one.
her.
He's a comedian.
or
She's a comedian.
Okay, fair enough.
They
Yeah,
both had shows. I don't know.
No one is coming to her
defense. Yeah.
So
I just find it weird. So they're just saying she's a shitty boss?
Well, no, and then she's also been tied in on a more conspiratorial note. She's been tied into like George Bush because of that, George Bush Jr. because of that. She was at the baseball game with him there. So she plays this like uber left
Yeah.
progressive lady, but then she's sitting there with him. And then there was something else, and then even more. You know, you want to go deeper and deeper than that. Then people are saying some way wonkier shit, but that's like Tom Hanks stuff. Well, we don't need to
Gotcha.
talk about that.
What else is on your list? Come
But
on.
I don't think, I think if nothing else, this is showing you that she's not clean. So this is probably just like the
Tip of the
tip
iceberg.
of a giant fucking Antarctica size.
and I wonder if all this stuff happens if there's no pandemic. Like it's just nothing's going on, so there's more time for stuff to be under a microscope and come out.
Maybe.
and people complain.
Do you think it could possibly have anything to do with the Ghislaine Maxwell thing?
Well, that's my next point. So we have unsealed documents from the Ghislaine Maxwell confirming that Bill Clinton
Fucking right.
was on the island. He's denied never being on the island,
Well, we knew that already, though. We've seen the.
but he's denied.
Yeah, I know he's denied it, but what I'm saying is we've seen 21 flight manifests
I
that
don't,
prove he was there.
it's. I mean,
He
unless you see
has
him
been
there.
put not only on the island, but taking part in orgies.
Well, this is the testimony that was unsealed, and the biggest thing.
Why are you staring at me?
This is like, look, this is the first step. Nobody wants to believe anything. You know what I mean? Nobody wants to believe that the Clintons are involved in anything nefarious. This is just the start, okay?
Does it excite you, though, that the ringleader of this is going to get like 1 year in prison, potentially?
That's if she survives.
If stuff's brought down, we've already gone over. So
Yeah, we
that's,
went
that's
through
the price
this
of doing
last week.
business. That shows business.
Fair enough.
No, I don't like it, Matt, but I'll take it.
But what's disturbing?
I agree. I was
What's
just asking.
What's disturbing is this information's coming out, and Hollywood is just silent. Like all these people, are like we got to get rid of Trump. We got to do. I think they all wish Ghislaine well. Ghislaine.
Yeah.
Just the silence is deafening.
They all-
Would you not agree?
But I don't understand. You want Hollywood to comment on
I want
Bill
Nancy
Clinton?
Pelosi. I want Joe Biden. I want any of them to say this is fucked up. We've got to get to the bottom of this.
How are they Hollywood?
Well,
No.
Hollywood. All that is the left or the Democrats.
I cannot believe this. If this is what you mean, I still can't believe this isn't a bigger deal.
Just all the social justice warriors.
How
like,
is not everybody able to sink their teeth into this thing and be like, let's find the fuck out?
keep her alive, hold their feet to the fire. Like there's just silence.
And if that means giving her a sweetheart deal to flip on more people than she wants it, well, so fucking be it. Like, this is the only chance you're going to have. Why are people who are like, look, this isn't taking away from Black Lives Matter, okay? But this is
It's a tornado.
important. What just happened there?
Well, all the things that are pouring.
I was
going
going to say all the power over here is on. So
hunker down in the middle of your rant.
Everything's over there. I'll
Blew
figure it
a
out.
fuse.
I think we blew a fuse somewhere.
Yeah, I'll have to.
You're
go
just
to
too
the thing.
awesome.
But do you think we're still working?
We
I
know
can
we
see everything is still,
Okay. I
everything's
can
red,
still hear you.
green.
Yep.
Yeah.
But yeah, what was I saying?
That's why I wanted
No,
you to
but
keep going.
what was I saying? What were we talking
You were
about?
in the middle of a Bill Clinton diatribe about Black Lives Matter.
Just people.
No, just that
People are not going after Ghislaine or this issue
it's
or
just
wanting to
not
get
a
to the
big,
bottom of the
it's
truth.
just not a big enough deal. Listen, the fact that they're not making this a political point, like you're saying, for Biden to say, I'm going to make sure that this happens and use it. The fact that they're not doing that means that they're all fucking running scared.
It's like the outrage over the grab her by the pussy. Silence for the Ghislaine Maxwell and sex
because
Yeah, but you're missing the point because they're not. Bill Clinton isn't running for president.
But you have to be offended by their behavior, I think.
I agree you do, but my question, Kamar, is like, so I get Simon saying you want Joe Biden to come out and say we're gonna lock Bill Clinton up.
No, or even like, Trump and I disagree on everything, but we agree on one thing, and that's to stop this pedophile ring. It's just good business, you know?
Or
Sure,
but I
just what
think
you imagine you hear from them.
I think it's an imaginatory thing. Imaginatory, that's not a word. I think
It is now.
I think it's still your imagination to assume that Trump cares about this pedophile ring. I think that's all just smoke and mirrors.
Sure, but both of them could be using this as a platform for people to get behind to say, these guys are good guys. I'm going to vote for them. The fact that nobody's using it
The problem, though, is
very worrisome.
the problem is the party line. You're forgetting about the party line. It's tough for Joe Biden to go, hey, listen, we don't like pedophiles either. We're definitely going to lock up all these Democrats that have been fucking these kids. It's a tough fucking sell.
No, it shouldn't be, though, if you're
I
really
agree.
going to be the guy.
I agree.
It's because that list is full of people from both sides. It's not a left and right
it's not.
thing.
How could it be?
Everybody is fucking running scared. And we need to know who is on that list. Because what I said last time, and this is very crazy, and it's most probably certainly untrue that Biden is on that list. But if he was, you would need to know that before you vote for him. Or vice versa. If Trump is on that list, his constituents need to know that before they vote for him.
Yeah, I think the problem that you're not realizing is that the list could be like, I don't know, 5,000 names deep, and it could be every district attorney in every district that matters.
Well, then we got a fucking... Dude, if that was the case...
But do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I do see exactly.
And
we'll
that's,
never know.
of course, a huge conflict of interest if those names all come up and all of a sudden it's like, well, where do we try Ghislaine Maxwell? Because everywhere we'd want to try her, every major district we want to try her has a DA on this list.
And that's why everybody in the world, not just Americans, would have to hope that somehow Trump on this one is on the right side. Because he's the only one who can make sure that.
But again, I haven't seen him do anything that tells me he's doing anything.
Right.
I think that leads to they're all.
I didn't say he was. I said we can hope that at least he would be a good guy in this situation. Because if everybody's a bad guy.
Yeah, but let me ask
what
you
the
this.
Fuck?
Like, so are we going on the idea that this pedophile ring has only been running like 20, 30 years? Obviously, we're not, right?
No, I think
No
it
idea. It
runs
could be
longer.
gone.
I have no idea.
So my point is
like
if
the Catholic Church.
Like
my
how
point
old
is,
was the
if it's
Seville thing?
Just hear me out. If it's been running for this long, if it's been running for 50, 60, 100 years, it seems odd to me that all of a sudden it's just going to stop because they caught one guy. And
Oh, well, I don't know if it's going to stop, but it just seems odd to me that all these people that speak out for social injustices have no opinion whatsoever about it.
Listen. Without talking about it directly, we saw someone local this week going through the exact. It's all bullshit, Kamar. You know that.
No, I'm with Kamar. It speaks volumes on this one that nobody is like.
Whoever has the loudest social justice voice is usually doing the grossest shit behind.
But still,
right.
not the grossest, because the situation you're talking about is pretty
Fine,
much
it's
just
not-
infidelity.
Yeah, that's what it is.
That's not what I'm talking about.
Yes, it is infidelity. Yeah,
Infidelity.
Yeah.
So that is a moral
a gross
issue.
kind of infidelity. Let's keep in mind.
Well, it's gross because of their posturing and self-righteous nature.
No, but also the timing of the infidelity.
It's been going on for
No, but when someone's sick or when someone's pregnant.
and the issues with him and his partner.
Yeah.
That's where the real crime is had.
Yeah.
But if these people are trafficking children it's a little more than that. And like, he's done nothing illegal. The case we're talking about, he's just acted like a wicked person who just did something really shitty. And
I think he was just pointing out that the squeaky wheel on social media is usually the one who's hiding.
I get it.
No, I'm saying that's what you were saying.
Yeah. I also just find it very interesting that like we as people are very fucked up. Like we have a problem. We have a huge problem, as we should, with people fucking kids, 100%. But we all tweet about it on phones that were made by kids who make no money.
Listen, do we have a problem with people fucking kids? Like, forget even fucking kids, okay? Sorry, don't forget about fucking kids. Forget about them fucking kids for 1 second.
Yeah.
But just take Nike shoes.
Sure.
Okay? We know 100% that Nike shoes are made by tiny little children in foreign countries who are paid poorly and all of that shit, all of that disgusting stuff. And that definitely, because that type of slave labor leads into human trafficking. And if you don't think that, you're crazy. Those two things are tied together, like those circle diagrams. You know what I'm saying?
Diagram. Yeah,
Venn diagram.
But Simon, you can argue though that you can sleep at night because you have to make a jump there.
Just wait.
Sure.
Let's get through the whole thing. Okay. So all of us, we're all guilty of this because we've all worn Nike on our lives. Because we know this to be fact, that these kids are being exploited 100%. And like I just said, we also know that that Venn diagram includes human sex trafficking. It does, for certain. We make a moral decision amongst ourselves that this is okay because I want to wear Jordans. That's a fact. And if more of us or all of us said, no, that is not okay, and we're not going to wear Jordans and we're not going to wear Nikes, they would have to change what they're doing, right? Like, we are responsible for, in a way, for a lot of this shit.
Not in a way, directly.
And I mean all of us. Well, no, look, we're not responsible for these evil motherfuckers having these rings of children that they're pedophiling out to famous people. Like, we're not responsible for that. But there are things that we're just complicit in.
Yeah, but to say we're not responsible, like, if you go far enough back down the line, we are. Because it started off as, like, Nike started off in Oregon. And I'm sure they made all their shoes in Oregon. And somewhere along the line, you know, we sent them overseas to let them do this stuff. And it was just regulation. Like, there's always been regulation that they could have put in place. Whatever. Who cares?
No, but we really need to look like, fine, here's a perfect example, okay? Look at where your meat comes from, all right? A lot of us are okay with just saying, like me, as an example, I'll buy good meat if I can, when I can. But most of the time, out of convenience or price or whatever, I just say, I'm not watching that documentary because I don't want to see how they make the meat, but I'm going to eat the meat, okay? That you can kind of get away with because you're a human and that's a cow. These are children, right? These are kids who are being exploited. So that's where we should be able to say, fuck, we don't need Nikes. We don't need whatever. Fill the blank here. It's not just all Nike. It's whoever, like you said, Apple, whoever does this shit. And until they're willing to change their practices, we're not going to buy their shit anymore. And if everybody does that, then they're going to have to figure out another way to do their business. If only some people do that, they're going to say, well, we're just going to make our shit more expensive and then we're going to get those people anyways. And we're going to make our nut no matter what, because that's what we do. But if everybody says, no, this is unacceptable, exploiting children is unacceptable, and any business that deals in that is unacceptable, like, I don't know.
We all know that, Simon, and we all don't get on board.
I know. It's
even with being able to connect it at the touch of a button, we all still can't get on board with something as simple as what you just said.
Because our society is just, and again, I'm not removing myself from that. I'm as guilty as the next person. We are just, it's all based around this ordering Jordans, you know, and I hate to use that as the example because I know if you're never going to wear those shoes ever again.
Look around this table. Look at everything you're wearing. There's nothing here that was made in the U.S. or Canada. Not a goddamn thing.
No.
Chico. That's it.
We're not even sure of that. That might be Mexico.
He may be. But you know what I mean? Nothing. I don't think there's a thing in here that was made in Canada.
No, I mean, listen, it's a crazy rant I just went on because we're never going to change that, you know?
No, we are.
But at least Nike is a good example because everybody wears it. And if we demanded them to practice more ethical shit. Yeah. And I know this, I'm not the first person to bring this up. This has been brought up a million times. But unless you have like the famous people, the Jay-Z's, the people who make the LeBrons, which that's a perfect example, right, Kamar? Because there's a guy who like...
But he stands up for China all the time.
Yeah, I know.
That's the problem.
This is insane. Yeah, well, fuck, whatever.
Okay, Kamar, 2 more things on there. Pick your 2 favorite. I want to be done with this. I want to go the fuck home. I want to edit this, and then I want to do other things.
Okay.
Mike Tyson.
I want to live my
Teddy
life.
Atlas, is that what you're talking about? I'll give you 3 then. Is it the Teddy Atlas thing?
No, Mike Tyson's fighting Roy Rhodes Jr.
Did you see he made up with Teddy Atlas?
I did not see that.
No way.
Well, thank you for bringing somebody to the post.
That's because he wants him in his corner to fight Roy Jones?
No.
Roy Jones?
I don't know if it happened a while ago. I saw that it said the video was only posted a week or 2 ago, but it's they're at like an event and the guy's interviewing Mike Tyson and he's like, Mike, I got to ask, all this, it kind of pales in comparison to what happened 5 minutes ago before the interview. You went over and it looked like you hugged Teddy Atlas and you buried the hatchet. And Mike was like, well, I'm an addict and I've been an addict for a long time. I've had a lot of problems, a lot of demons. And like at my steps to recovery, I want to apologize for the bad I've done and for the people I've hurt. And, I want to bury the hatchet. I thought, dude, I was blown away.
It has to be all this hot box session. I mean, he sat down with Evander Holyfield.
It's the
guy bit his ear off.
DMT.
But the concerning thing is the fight is $45 pay-per-view.
Why is that concerning?
Well, I just assumed Mike Tyson didn't need money. So does he need money?
You're forgetting
they're not doing this for fun.
You're forgetting
it's an exhibition. What are they doing it for?
Well, maybe they'll give it to charity or something.
Oh, okay.
Either way,
I do not know that.
No,
that's
but
different.
he's also putting his life on the line. You know what I mean?
So I don't actually know why they're doing it.
I would say this, Kamar. You're forgetting that Mike Tyson went like super broke, super in debt, paid that debt off, and now I wouldn't say he's rich. I'd say he probably has like, again, he's doing better than all of us.
I think the weed is making him really rich, Matty.
That's what I assumed.
His own brand of weed. That makes you a fucking.
That's what I assumed, and then I said, well, why are you going to put your life at risk or do this? If it is for charity, then
would be
fair play to them,
incredible.
and that's great. Or unless they have a beef,
But maybe you are right, Maddie. Maybe it is a thing where maybe his ranch is draining so much money from him because it's still not open, is it?
Well, the pandemic probably shut everything down.
Oh, and that too. So maybe
The
this
overhead
is,
on that's probably insane.
What? That may be it. And if he has to do that, then he has to do that.
You're also forgetting too, if you're a
Still
weed
putting his life on
manufacturer,
the
there's a
line.
lot of overhead and a lot of things can go wrong. Let's say your whole crop fucks up.
And really, he might have zero to do with that. He might have just put his name on the actual weed and all to leverage the rent. We don't know. We don't know what's happening behind the scenes.
Listen, you never know someone's
he's putting his
monetary
life
shit or
on
their
the line.
business.
Yeah,
Yeah.
of course.
We saw him on Joe, and he said, "I'll never fight again." So
I think-
at first I was excited about it, and I'm like,
I think he
going on
needs
here?
the money.
I think we should also be prepared for not the most competitive fight. It is
Wow,
too.
are you going to pay $45?
No, I'm going to steal it as I would most.
Touche.
No, I mean, would I pay 45 for this? Like, this is the thing. We actually do pay for a lot of the pay-per-view events.
Yeah,
Half
to
of
the
them, I'd
UFC.
say. Yeah, the UFC,
Those
I'd pay for
fucking
half of them. Yeah.
scumbucket. No,
Even
I'm
though
just
they
joking.
don't work half the time, thanks UFC.
Yeah, that is true. It's so fucking lame.
Simon and I have paid for the last 2, and then we had to steal them because they didn't work.
In all fairness, you paid for them, Matt. Thanks.
Okay, well, whatever. Fine. I paid for it, and then we had to steal it, which is ironic because I didn't even feel bad at that point. I was like, well, I gave them my $73. Anyway,
Yeah.
I can't remember what we were saying.
They should double us up at that point.
Kamar, I would pay $45 just for the spectacle of it. Yes, to answer your question.
And I'd go to Matt's when he pays the $45.
I can see myself being there, but we'll see what happens. But
Yeah.
you just said you're going to pay $45, but you don't think it's going to be that competitive.
No, I think he
Same
needs
time.
the cash. I think that's kind of shitty, but it is what it is, as we say these days.
You know what it is, Kamar? There are people maybe a little younger than me that just heard the lore of Mike Tyson and never really got to see. And this is a chance for younger people, especially super younger than me, to just say, I got to see Tyson fight.
Yeah, but you're not going to see it.
Oh, I totally agree. But,
It'll be interesting.
like I watched him bite Holyfield's ear off live. My dad had the black box. We got to steal that thing, So I
I
remember.
kind of wish I could have seen more before that, like the real young Tyson. I was not.
I only saw
I was
one.
not yet old
I saw
enough
them
to
all, man.
appreciate boxing.
No,
so.
I
The world stopped every time. Anyways, should have done more research. If it's for charity, that's
Anyways,
fantastic.
it doesn't matter.
If it's for money, it's sort of sad.
You're fine, man.
In news that's a little closer to us, Owen Benjamin reached out to his fans to sue Patreon.
Okay.
And they did, because what they're saying is he has agreement with their fans. This is under California law.
Can you back up, Kamar? Sorry. I just really want to understand this. So Owen Benjamin
Kicked off Patreon
Okay, wait. He's the one in the woods with the piano, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So when did he get kicked off Patreon?
a year ago. I don't know. the
So
exact timeline.
this whole time he's been fighting against
Also
them?
been kicked off Patreon, though, as Sargon of Akkad,
Yeah.
Lord Southern.
Yeah.
And so in
Did he get kicked off for breaking the TOS?
Hate
I'm sorry to
speech,
cut
hate
you off.
speech.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah. So he broke the TOS.
But in California law, there's some third party thing where he has agreement with, like we have agreement with our Patreons to deliver whatever.
Yeah, we're going to give them X amount of content a month. They're gonna,
Patreon can't just take that away. Or they're challenging that.
that seems so fucking.
Now, is it a group suit?
Can I finish?
yeah, please do.
And the judge ruled that they can, and Patreon has to pay for the arbitration. And they're saying it's going to cost about $10,000 per suit. And he's got 100 people filing suit. And now, so this came out, like Patreon thought they were just going to crush his fans. Like, no, he did hate speech. We can do whatever we want. And the judge ruled, no, you can't just do whatever you want like this. And then Mike Cernovich, a popular conservative lawyer and Twitter social media personality, broke the story and said, if Sargon of Akkad were to do this, because he had way more followers that got kicked off,
Patreon would be fucked monetarily.
Sorry,
ruined.
is he not involved? So Sargon Akkad is not involved in this suit.
Sargon of Akkad just got involved.
Of course.
And
With-
Lauren Southern.
Like they're all together now,
No,
or
separate
individual?
Saying if you
Yeah,
were
fucking
kicked off
Patreon's
in the
in
last
trouble.
year, because Patreon pays out like something like $19 million a month to creators.
Okay.
That's nothing.
Well, plus whatever back end they're getting
Yeah,
to
yeah.
exist. But they're saying the Owen Benjamin, it doesn't even matter how the case goes, but the arbitration could cost about $10 to $20 million. And if Sargon steps up,
Jesus Christ.
and so they're
what I
saying,
was just saying,
Patreon
yeah.
Why
won't-
would the arbitration cost that much?
10,000
per
per
case, lawyers don't go, oh, I'll do this pro bono.
No, but Owen Benjamin.
Has
No.
nothing to do with it.
Each one of his
initiated it.
fans is suing Patreon. Each one of those arbitrations is $10,000.
Up
Kamar's
to.
Kamar's point is Sargon of Akkad had 50,000.
So
let's
is it
say.
Sargon of Akkad's fans who are now suing?
Yes.
But it started with Owen Benjamin's. Cernovich broke the story and just said if Sargon were to do this or follow suit, they would ruin Patreon. 2 days later, Sargon's fans are filing suit.
Right. So Sargon Akkad and Owen Benjamin have nothing to gain monetarily from this lawsuit.
No,
No, they're
just
doing it just to break a company
No,
on
that
pure.
is fine. That's what I
pure
thought-
spite.
I thought it
principle,
was,
maybe.
I thought they
Spite,
were
that's what it
suing.
feels like.
I thought they were suing.
And I start like Owen, and I'm like, you're fucking us
That's
if this
crazy.
happens.
That's crazy.
So I want to pose a question to your fans. Would you support us on anything else other than Patreon? Why don't you support us on Patreon and this and the other?
Can I just say my piece here real quick? You sign a terms of service. I understand that we've made them egregious now to where these companies can make it 400 pages that no one's ever going to read. But it is in there that if you say some shit that we don't like, we can get rid of you. It seems insane that you would then turn around and be like, well, I don't like how you run your company. I'm going to bring like, fuck
But
off.
I think it comes down to specifically California contract law.
I understand. Yeah, yeah.
and they maybe did not do their due diligence in making these decisions.
And if they feel slighted, like, I don't know, Owen Benjamin, I believe he said the N-word, right? So that's not great. But Sargon Akkad got thrown off from some...
no, he said the N-word, but he was saying it.
He was quoting someone.
He was calling white supremacists the N-word.
Who, Sargon of Akkad?
Yes.
Yeah, no, but that's what I'm saying.
On
His
a
was
different
like
platform.
a weird fucking loophole they caught him on. Owen Benjamin, I don't believe was any loophole. I think he was actually using a bad... Was he not? I could be wrong.
Think he's more anti-Jew than anti-black.
Sure, whatever he was saying was not nice.
Nope.
Sargon Akkad was not in the same boat, I don't believe. Again, I could be wrong.
All that doesn't matter because we're here now, and we're going to see how it's going to develop. It's going to be very interesting.
I just find it incredible that a judge, that seems like a crazy decision to me. Like, it's fine. You have this deal with your people. You still have it. That's fine. They can still give you $1 a month, $5 a month, whatever you want. You still have that contract. We're a third party. We're not beholden to you guys now.
There's a third party.
Terrible.
A huge
That's
precedent.
a terrible precedent.
Well,
to set.
because it may
Terrible.
affect us, it makes us a bit biased. But I think it's just by the letter of the law. That's just how it works out. I don't think this is in every state. There's other
Only in
states where this doesn't
California it
happen.
works. So unless you're doing
Kamar,
your shit
if
in
Patreon went away
California-
tomorrow, I wouldn't care. I have nothing invested. I just think that's a terrible decision to make based on what I've heard. I haven't.
Well-
I've only heard what you've told me.
Cash out from Patreon every 2 days now is what he's driving at.
We'll see what happens. If you want, YouTube Tim Pool Patreon scandal, and he'll talk. It's not really a scandal, but a lawsuit. And he suggested some big power might come in and say Patreon, like a Google or whatever, like
Just comes in and
The
buys
same
them.
way they're going to save TikTok. It's going to be Microsoft.
Well, no, they could
Bill
also
Gates
get.
will be your friend.
They could also get a steal.
No, he won't.
Well, no, think about it. If Patreon right now had a market value of like $50 million, if this thing breaks, Google could come in and be like, "We're going to give you 5. We'll give you 5 million
Do
for
you
Patreon."
not
Well, no,
think-
they're going to have to pay for all this arbitration.
Yeah, but they'll give. That's why they'll be like, "We'll give you 5 because we're going to pay down the road. So here's 5 million
like
for
buying the
Patreon."
debt.
And then they'll just reinstate these guys and fucking bada boom, bada bing.
Seriously, though, do you guys not think that Microsoft is not like lowballing the shit out of.
Well, of course, because
Or maybe
Lowballing
not.
who? What are you
maybe
talking
a
about?
lot of people are
TikTok,
interested in buying
Trump's
TikTok.
banning TikTok. That was one of my points, but I don't know enough about it.
An American entity needs to buy TikTok in order to
We talked about
circumvent
this during the
Yeah,
podcast.
I got it. Yeah.
them disappearing.
Lastly, the Canadian COVID app came up. Do you guys have it?
Nope.
You're not going to get it?
Nope.
Okay.
It came up on my phone. I didn't.
Let me explain why real quick.
I
haven't-
I thought months ago we were like, of course we'll do whatever it takes to.
Yeah, but then I thought about it a little further. Now, I don't care because I'm not fucking around. But I assume that when you sign on to that app, you agree that it's going to track you and your whereabouts. Am I incorrect in
No.
that?
Your
there's-
phone
there's-
is probably doing that already.
They're saying that's
Yeah,
not
my phone's not
happening.
hooked up to the government, Simon.
All the phones every 5 minutes put out a ping and do all the phones around, and then if you're within 5
see, I'm
meters
out.
of someone with COVID, it'll say you've just been around someone.
See, I find it very. Just hear me out
That's
here.
insane.
Last week they come out and they say we've given out $1 billion in COVID money, in CERB money where we shouldn't have because people are still working and collecting it. People should whatever. Now a week later they're saying, hey, we the government have this app that we're not tracking you. You just send out a ping every 5 minutes, which means we can triangulate exactly where you are.
We just send out a ping every 5 minutes. Get the fuck out of
Well,
here.
I slap me and call me Willie. You guys were 100% different at the beginning of this pandemic. Whatever it takes, because they're saying they need at least 60% for this to even be effective. But you will know if you are in the vicinity of someone who has COVID.
But then what do you do if your phone bings and tells you then you have to self-isolate?
No, you don't have to self-isolate, but then
Then you go get tested?
I've been around someone for an hour within 5 meters who had COVID. I should go get tested.
Okay.
I don't know.
Well,
I don't know either.
freedom wins at the end.
Okay,
Do you know what? Hold on.
I have to think about it for a second.
Well, what I was gonna say is I'm still pretty much quarantined. My bubble is incredibly small. Yeah, I get it. There's only so much control you have. What I'm saying is, as far as what I'm doing on my end, my bubble remains very small. So, do I feel like I need to download this app right now? No. I hope that 60% of people will if they think it'll help, but I don't know, man.
He's just trying to trace the movement of the virus. Very interesting.
Yeah, no, you're right. I poo-pooed that too quickly. I need to think thoroughly about this.
Read
whole
up
thing.
on it.
I haven't given it enough thought.
I downloaded it because I thought you guys would demand I
Hold
have
on.
it.
Well, here's the other thing.
See you later.
Here's the thing. I didn't. No.
Hold on.
I haven't looked into it. Okay. I got the text from them. I haven't done my due diligence. I want to read into this ping thing. I want to see exactly what the fuck location services wise they want. If it's the government tracking your movement, 100%, I will never download this app.
Listen, we're working on kind of like the honor system amongst us. You know what I mean? If you were to tell me I'm keeping my bubble small, like smaller than you are right now, which I think you should be doing, by the by, then I would say you don't need to be tracked because you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. You know what I mean? You're, like Matt said, his bubble is tiny.
but you want to know if you're in Loblaws and you walk past someone who has it or whatever. Yeah.
That thing could be like malfunctioning all the time, giving off all these false positive reading and fucking up your whole. The safest way for you to do this is to make sure that you're being as safe as possible and being responsible and thinking about other people.
Talk to the app, bro.
To the app, that app.
In closing,
Yes, please.
which
50 minutes. Jesus.
episode would you recommend this week?
Sorry, before we do that, Kamar, I can't believe you didn't bring this up. Mike Ward is now back. The trial is back on.
Oh, no, we've always known that.
Wait, what do you mean? I thought he lost.
No, it's just gone to the Supreme Court.
Yeah, it's going to the Supreme Court.
Oh, excellent. Where he will win.
Well, let's hope.
And hopefully we will
Hopefully.
dismantle these
It's
ridiculous
funny-
fucking tribunals.
It's funny because when I was in Kingston, I was talking to Joey Elias, and he knows him very well.
Yep.
And I was like, it is just principle. Like, he's losing. Well, he's rich, so it's not a problem.
Oh, he always
but
said it was just principle.
just principle. Like, there's nothing. If he
and
wins,
precedent. If he wins, it sets a precedent. No, but literally, if he wins, they could dismantle these tribunals because, well, hear me out.
I don't think it's so straightforward.
yeah.
Just hear me out. If the Supreme Court sets a precedent that says this tribunal basically can't hand out this fucking, it's against the Constitution, then what good are they?
Yeah, hopefully that's what comes out of it, but it may just be spend a lot of money to say, I don't agree.
Well, I hope our Supreme Court sees through this horse shit.
So we'll have to watch that.
Because
we're
if you
gonna
can't
see.
make fun
I
of
thought you'd be
handicapped
all
kids, what are
over
we
that.
doing here?
Well, no, it went to the Supreme Court. I don't know anything about it. It's still going.
Now go ahead.
What episode would you guys recommend this week?
It's very tough.
Well,
Very tough.
No, I gave David Cho a 5.
I know, but the Garrett
Oh,
one
it's
was,
that or
I think
Post Malone. Yeah,
No, the first guy, the prepper, that episode was incredible.
it was good, but I still David Cho.
But if you don't know who David Cho is, maybe it's different. I don't know.
You see, David Cho's was amazing because he was. It's so honest. Like,
So
how do you
vulnerable,
not
yeah.
reward
That's what I'm
that
saying.
honesty? But that's not necessarily for everyone.
Yeah.
The one where you garnered the most information and the most new facts and
Yeah.
all of that shit was that first episode.
The
prepper doctor.
If it was like you gotta listen to Joe Rogan, what episode should I listen to? And you only
Yeah.
have these 4 to
Oh.
choose from. I'd say Garrett over Cho.
I'm going
You can
prepper
choose more
doctor.
interesting. It depends on the person you're talking to.
Dr. Prepper. Oh my God, that's
Interesting show.
hilarious.
I don't know.
Dr. Prepper, Dr.
Yeah,
Pepper.
I didn't even do that, but that was amazing.
It's coming out on a shirt, coming soon.
Dr. Prepper, that's amazing.
Well, if there was a doctor who was a prepper, that reality show.
We are copywriting that right now.
Oh, well, it is.
It's there. It's out there.
YouTube.
Dr. Prepper.
Dr.
That's our
Pepper.
next shirt.
It's coming on a shirt.
Coming on a shirt.
Because we love parody.
That's smart parody.
Any predictions on guests this week?
Okay, let's have a little fun here. He's been getting big names lately. I think there's going to be a big actor in there.
Listen, Michelle Obama is going to be on in the next 30 days.
Oh, no, that's his first guest.
There you go.
At Spotify.
That was going to be my last
Yeah.
question. I think Tom Hanks is going to be on this week. And
You just keep going with this Tom Hanks. You know Tom Hanks is in
you know how
Greece
to
now.
fucking get something going, and you don't point it out. You just move on. Jesus Christ. Act like you've been there.
But no, for sure, his first guest on Spotify is going to be Michelle Obama.
Well, that was so. Yeah.
Or Dave Chappelle.
It's Michelle.
It's 30 days, right?
Yeah.
So. It's,
Next
Oh my God! Hold
week,
on, though.
though,
Stop. That never even ran through my head. I'm now back
on the Dave Chappelle.
on a small Chappelle hope. Because wouldn't that be
That would
Spotify?
be amazing. That would be
That'd
big.
be the biggest.
Imagine he got the 2 in one episode. Whoa.
Dare to dream,
Whoa.
Maddie. Dare to
No,
dream.
not Michelle Obama and Dave
Yeah,
Chappelle. That
yeah.
ruins it
No,
for
no,
me.
No, not together.
Oh.
I mean, in the same week.
Oh, wow.
First week at Spotify.
No, he's got to have at least one woman on in the first week.
yeah.
Michelle Obama. Oh, fuck.
She ticks 2 boxes.
Zinger.
Oh, my God.
Oh, I get it.
Gross.
Yeah. Well, there, she ticks 3 boxes then.
Fuck, it's just over their head.
Yeah, no, you're amazing, Kamar.
I'm not.
Your
I'm
humor
I
is totally
truly am not.
lost on me. But no, hold on. I want to make a prediction for this week. I think that we're going to have a scientist on, and I think it's going to be. Oh man, will he do it? Will he do Neil deGrasse Tyson?
Well, you know what everyone's clamoring for right now is Tom DeLonge.
Neil deGrasse Tyson is never coming back
Tom
on.
DeLonge is. I don't. Oh, maybe. Who knows?
But no, we're going to do that for the throwback.
Yeah.
Surprise, surprise, on the Patreon exclusive. And I went back and listened on YouTube, watched it rather. And if you go through the comments, it's all very recent, very.
Yeah, this is all true now. He's been proven right.
But green room, because we're going to waste everything on the
We're gonna waste everything on
Right
that.
now.
Okay.
Anyways,
this is it.
a physicist or Neil deGrasse. Let's do it. Bye.
That's not how we end. Thank you for watching. We hope you have a great weekend, and
Keep your eyes open.
thank you.
Ba-ba-ba.